What's up, gamers? Today we're going to take a closer look at Wyrmspan, the spiritual successor to the game Wingspan. This is not an expansion, it's not compatible with Wingspan, it's a new game that adds on the formula that made Wingspan so popular. Now I have a confession to make, I've never played Wingspan, so like many of you I'm coming to this fresh, without any biases or preconceptions. I must say that I was provided a review copy of the game, and really given no other instructions. They left me to make my content how I like, and the fact that it was a free copy has no bearing on my thoughts and opinions. Wyrmspan is an engine-building tableau game for 1 to 5 players. They rate the game as heavy, but I'd probably put it firmly in the medium category. Game length can vary depending on the number of players and how experienced at the game they are. I've played with both 2 and 4 players and found that the 2-player games are quick, probably around the 90-minute mark, but with 4 players things slow down a bit. So I'd allocate some extra time if you have a higher player count. Wyrmspan was incredibly easy to pick up once I figured out how to best learn to play. They include a link for a video on the game manual, but I think there's an even easier way. This game works extremely well to just jump in and learn as you go. Read the first few pages of the rulebook, understand the different actions you can take, then just go for it. Reference the rulebook if you have any questions. You might make some mistakes your first game, but by the second, you're pretty much a master of the rules and can sit back and enjoy. I'd say before jumping in to play the game, make sure you read about the 3 main actions that you can take during your turn. On your turn, you can entice, excavate, or explore. Excavating will allow you to play a cave card and use its ability, and enable you to place a dragon in that slot on the board by enticing. Enticing invites a dragon from your hand to an empty cave on your player board. Simply pay the dragon's associated cost, and then you may place it and use some of its abilities while exploring. Exploring allows your adventure to move through each row of caves, stopping at each dragon to use explore abilities and gaining some type of resource along the way. The rows of caves slip into 3 main themes: spendable resources, dragons, or caves, meaning when you're moving through the top cave, you'll be getting spendable resources. The middle cave will help you in collecting dragons for your hand. The bottom cave will provide caves that you can excavate and place on your board to home more dragons. You'll play 4 rounds broken into turns that each player pays for by using the silver resource. The 4 rounds each have a goal, and working towards that goal can score you some crucial in-game points if you're lucky enough to place first or second for that round. Taking an action on your turn generally costs 1 of your silver coins, that refresh at the beginning of each round. There are ways to gain extra silver coins along the way, and doing so may make all the difference between winning and losing. The 4-round structure is just about perfect. It allows you enough time to build your engines, run them multiple times, and gives you some wiggle room in case your luck with dragons or caves isn't the best. This game does an amazing job of letting you run your engines multiple times while building it up. The engines are fun to run as well. As you move your little adventurer meeple through the caves, you're gaining valuable resources, making decisions, and you really feel the sense of agency that you possess. The dragons are the main attraction here, and rightfully so. There's so many unique dragons in the game, 183 to be exact. So far, I've seen very few repeats in my games. Each dragon can be played for the cost of a coin and the additional cost printed on the top left of the dragon card. Along the side of the card is a color pattern indicating what caves the dragon can be enticed to. Some dragons also hold a number of eggs indicated on the card, but the main draw for playing dragons are their abilities. Dragon abilities can be in-game scoring mechanisms, once per round abilities, and exploration benefits. Dragon abilities can interact with those in their rows or columns. They might take into account the temperament of other dragons, or they might be hatchlings. Hatchlings are dragons whose abilities evolve the more you visit them. They're hard to play, difficult to deal with, but can offer some amazing bonuses if you play correctly. The most important thing with hatchlings are to play them in the first half of the game, as you'll get little benefit from them in the latter half. The guild board and the card display board are 2 other elements you'll be managing. The guild board features a circular track that, as your marker is moved around it, gains you valuable resources. At the top and the bottom of the track, you're granted an opportunity to take advantage of guild-specific rewards. The guild board has 4 different guilds that can be chosen for the game. Each has 2 sides attuned to player count, and they do a good job of keeping things a little more dynamic and less predictable. The card display board acts as a bit of a shop, allowing you in certain instances to pick and choose the dragons and caves you're going to gain. Otherwise, you're likely drawing them from the top of the deck. I have found that while the card display board can be helpful in planning out a complex turn, movement on the guild board is one of the best ways to gain extra boons and even turns during gameplay, usually translating to higher in-game scoring. Overall, Wyrmspan plays very well at just about any player count. While the games are longer the more players there are, the enjoyment was still there even through our longest games. Component quality for the game is up there. Everything has a linen finish, like everything. The tokens, while cardboard, don't feel cheap and fragile. The eggs are a beautiful touch with the speckling that really sets them off. The only thing I felt that was truly missing was an organizer. A good organizer in a game box can make setup and teardown a breeze. Sadly, Wyrmspan is missing this mark a bit. There are a few boxes to help keep the easily rolling eggs under control, but that's about where it ends. The lack of an organizer definitely leads to longer setup and teardown for the game. This is something that can probably be easily solved with some foam board work or perhaps a small Plano box, but it's something that could have pushed my rating just a little higher. At retail, there are several upgrade options available to purchase. I can't speak to the quality, but I know I'll be looking into getting some of them as Wyrmspan has earned a solid spot in my collection. Upgrades come in the form of a wooden resource and metal coins pack and rubber player mats. Currently, they're sold out on the Stonemare website, but I know I'll be grabbing some resource packs should they come back in stock. Do you need these upgrades to enjoy the game to the fullest? Absolutely not, but if you fall in love with the game like me, these might be the perfect addition to your game box. Wyrmspan really took me by surprise. The more we played, the more we wanted to play again. The simplicity of the mechanics makes learning and remembering the different systems easy, and leaves the door open for different strategies to develop and evolve. The game possesses surprising depth that will keep players coming back for more and excited to try new strategies. The component quality is top-notch, and the colors and artwork are vivid, beautiful, and up front and center. Firmly, I believe this game deserves a spot in most game collections, and if your interest has been piqued, I doubt you'll be disappointed. For me, Wyrmspan earns a very solid 9 out of 10. So hopefully this has put a new game on your radar. I'll say again that all opinions are my own or those of my gaming group and are not paid for by the publisher in any way. Thank you to everyone watching, commenting, and supporting the channel. I'm working on new types of videos, a new format for the news videos, and much more. Thank you for your patience and understanding during this process. Have a great week, and remember to enjoy your table time.